Welcome back to MMAOddsBreaker. Of course, we have the oldest man that I know that's still competing, Dan Henderson. I mean, there's a couple guys that are older that are still competing, but that's just ridiculous. Like, you're still in that age where at 44, the question always arises, when are you going to get done? And then I'm sure everybody asked you before this last fight, how much you have left in you. And all questions were answered in 28 seconds. I mean, it was almost like a non-event. It was so exciting,
Yeah, it was. I was pretty happy about that. It's always nice when fights end that way, and make it easy on me that way. I guess it wasn't easy. He wasn't an easy opponent, but I caught him nice, and I guess if I catch you, you're done.
Yeah, there's no way getting away from that hand. Like, if you get touched by it at all, you're falling down. I experienced it in practice, and then obviously some guys have experienced it in your fights. It seems like now, as you've gotten older, it's either you're going to win by decision, you're going to win by KO. And that's kind of your MO. Like, it's not going to be a submission. Even though your wrestling is so good, you're not going to submit a guy, but usually guys are either going to get knocked out or you're going to beat the crap out of them for 3 or 5 rounds, How do you stay?
Going into this fight, I mean, I was thinking I'd have a chance of maybe submitting him. He'd been submitted before 2 or 3 times, and he leaves himself open for a few things, and I get asked that all the time in practice. Why don't I ever try to submit people or ever get submissions? And I don't know. I guess I just I enjoy punching them better, and so it worked out to where I didn't even have to test that theory out this fight either. Right. So.
Well, plus two, it's also good to keep stuff in that no one ever sees. Like, if no one ever sees your submission game, they're going to assume you don't have one. So when you have to use it, it's there, and it's able to be pulled out.
Yeah, well, they've everyone's seen my right hand. It still seems to work,
and so effectively. I mean, I got to think that it's not something that you stand there and just throw in the middle of practice trying to knock out your opponents at Team Quest. I don't see you trying to knock out your friends with that kind of punch, but you got to practice it some, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I don't throw it nearly as much as I should in practice, just because I don't want to hurt guys. I don't, and I really should throw it more and get a little meaner sometimes in practice, just to be as sharp as I can. But I obviously hit the mitts really hard, and this fight happened to go exactly what we were focusing on, was him coming at me with looping punches, being aggressive, and me going right down the pipe with the right hand and holding my ground, a couple steps back and landed the right hand.
So where does this knockout victory put you within the hierarchy now of the weight class? I mean, you've obviously been a 2-time champ at Pride. You're a champ. You're on a title run in the UFC. You're obviously going to make the Hall of Fame. I mean, there's no way around it. I mean, you're a guy that's been at the top end of every major organization when it was at its major time, But where does it put you now at 44? Where are you going to be within the hierarchy, do you think?
I don't know. We'll see. I would like a fight with, probably there's 2 or 3 guys in there that at middleweight that I think the fans would like to see me fight, and rematches with Anderson Silva, Vitor, and I'd like to fight Mousasi because I didn't really get a chance to fight him the first time.
I figured that one would be one of the ones at the top of your list, with the Mousasi fight you'd want to get back. And then definitely Vitor. Like, I think you'd like to get that one back too, for sure.
Yeah, it'd be a little different fighting him in the States rather than, where his doctor is the head of the athletic commission.
Yeah, right. Which brings me to my next question. You were on TRT, and then came off it when you went to go fight up in Canada because they had a thing where they didn't allow it. Now with the new drug policy, and you can't be on it no matter what, the new drug thing. A lot of the other fighters have come out and said that there's going to be a lot of changing of the guard because you're going to see a lot of different people, different body types on people that we know already, some just by looking, but there's only some that we don't know by looking that are using drugs, and they're now going to get caught with them, so they're going to stop early, so they get caught and get the initial 2-year ban.
So has my body changed in the last 10 years?
No, you have the same. Your neck still doesn't move. Your shoulders are still just as broad. You still kind of have no chest with big ass shoulders. The same body type. But you were using TRT. You weren't using testosterone replacement versus some of the shit these other guys are getting caught for. You know, they're using like anabol and diabol and this other crap, which is a definite body change, a definite morphic change.
Yeah.
But you now are obviously aren't taking it. What do you think is going to happen with the weight class? Let's start with 85 first. What do you think is going to happen with that weight class? Is there going to be a shift at the upper end, or no?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Weidman and who knows about Machida? He's not the biggest 85er and a good size one, but he's cutting weight to get down there. I think we've seen changes already in Vitor.
Yeah.
And Anderson Silva, I think, was a surprise to a lot of people, but
did it surprise you?
A little bit, but not too much. I mean, I think who knows what he was taking when he was champ. I have no idea, but I think obviously he's been doing something to get caught this last time. So who knows how he'll bounce back. Luke Rockhold, obviously, and Weidman are fighting next, and I don't think anything will change with those guys.
Yeah, I think the top end of 85, the top 2, top 3 guys are going to be fine. It's going to be.
And who knows about Jacare? He seems to have had the same body for a while as well.
Yeah.
So who knows?
And it's interesting now to see how more and more MMA is becoming more and more like cycling, where a team if one guy gets caught in a particular team, the whole team gets caught. It's like now the whole team's doing it. It's like the Lance Armstrong theory where everybody on his team got caught too. After
right.
He gets popped. So it's like it's becoming more and more of that kind of situation. And I'm wondering, is there going to be designer drugs ahead of the curve, ahead of the testing that people are start taking? Is there going to be other things in there?
I'm sure there is. I've always been pretty naive when it comes to that, and but yeah, I'm sure there is. It's just who's going to have the better doctors, I guess. But hopefully the USADA can stay ahead of the curve, and that they keep doing these random tests with no advance notice. And I've been asking for that for a few years, just like the days when I was wrestling on the national team and had guys with a cup knocking on my door at 7 a.m. saying pee in it, or 10 p.m. Without any notice. So that's what I would like to see happen, and it seems like it's moving towards that.
And this is for the folks at home. When Dan was competing in the heyday, other countries were supporting their athletes by giving them drugs. It was like a national epidemic outside the country, but we would get tested at 6, like Dan said, 6 in the morning, 10 at night, no warning. So all of a sudden, somebody knocking on your door and you're having to pee in a cup, and it's kind of a headache, to be honest with you, because you not want to be up at that time, you're not wanting to hang around at that time, but you're getting tested. So you're used to, Dan, you're used to competing against guys that are on drugs in other countries when you were wrestling. It's just because it was accepted, and they got past the drug testing. So it's not really that big of a deal for you if somebody's on it or not when you're fighting them, because they're going to have to train just as hard or train more so when they're getting ready to fight you. Do you think the UFC is taking a good stance? Like this new stance is at least in the right direction?
Yeah, absolutely. I think better late than never. They finally stepped up and are doing something that was needed a few years ago. But there's always an evolution of things, and with our sport being relatively young, it was bound to happen, and it's good to see it moving in that direction.
I like the stance. I read through the whole thing. It's astronomical amount of crap that you have to read through, on this end of it, and it's good. It's good. I like what it does, but you can always make it worse. They could always go one more step. First time caught, lifetime ban, and make it just that's it. You're just done, and that would destroy the sport, because then you're looking at like guys like Anderson Silva, who at the time were considered to be the greatest of all time, gets caught on one mistake. If that's what it is, then he's banned for life, and it tarnishes his record. So I also understand. What their mindset is.
But if you need that to get to where you're at, you shouldn't have been able to get there to begin with.
Right, exactly. And if especially we need to come back, if his one excuse is that he had to use it to come back to compete again, that he was nervous about fighting Diaz, then why are you fighting? If you're still nervous about fighting somebody after an injury, then why are you fighting? Just stop fighting altogether and He could have retired and had no problem, like, and been okay with it. He could have walked away from it.
Should have, I guess.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, who knows? It'll all work itself out. So let's talk about Dan Henderson. You just came back from Cancun on a nice little vacation. I'm assuming with the wife. That's where you went.
Yep.
Now you're down south hanging out with the in-laws. When is your next hunting trip? When is your next fishing trip?
I'm actually going fishing today. In the Gulf Coast here, in the Gulf of Mexico or Gulf. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know about hunting, but hopefully we're going to go shark fishing tonight.
How much time are you going to take off before you get back in the gym? Or have you been training the whole time, just light and loose?
No, I mean, I get back this weekend and I'll be back in the gym for a couple days. And then, I've got a few trips or a couple more trips scheduled. One for fun and one with the family. So,
hold on, travel with the family's not fun?
I'm going to be training. I train usually every day that I'm home.
Okay.
So
when do you want to fight again? I mean, obviously you got that fight with no problems. We don't know how training camp went. You could have been hurt in training camp. You could have hurt your back or hurt your neck or blew an ankle out in training camp. But the fight seemed like no damage. You could fight again in a month if they. I
felt great in training camp, and with the same aches and pains that I've always had. But obviously I was fine in the fight. The hand was a little bit sore. I think I just sprained my thumb a little bit. But I'm ready to go. Probably I'd like to fight October, November.
Oh, good. Okay.
So, be able to do a few things this summer with the kids, and then get back to training after the summer's over.
Would you like to grab a hold of Mousasi or Belfort next?
Either one. I mean, whatever the fans want to see, whatever timing-wise works out. Either one of them.
You re-signed your contract a while back with the UFC and had to take a pay cut. Now the new sponsorship deal is going to hurt you. Obviously, Clinch Gear is your company. It's been around for a long time. It's a great athletic wear company, and no more. Now you have to wear Reebok.
I haven't been able to wear the name for a while, anyway. So,
but
it's all right.
Your other sponsors,
I'm not real fond of the deal and getting paid. Not very much. So, I really haven't done my homework on the whole deal yet. I know that the pay isn't where it should be, but I'm going to start looking at that now.
You're one of the better guys. You do a lot of stuff outside the ring your sponsors don't really have to be on your shorts. Don't have to be fight night kind of sponsors. You make a lot of money doing stuff, appearances and what have you on the outside. Has that been becoming easier as of late, or has it always been kind of a struggle trying to get that stuff even put together?
Well, I think this last year I've freed up more time where I started trying to do that more. I used to do it quite a bit in the past, and then went through a few years without doing many at all, just because my time was limited with my kids and everything. But things have worked out now to where I have a little bit more time, and I am doing more appearances now.
How old is your oldest kid?
My oldest is 16.
So going into junior year or going into senior year?
Going to be a junior.
Going to be a junior. And obviously all your kids can go off to school, go off and play. They're all going to play sports probably in college as well, right?
Hopefully. I mean, that's the plan. And, my oldest plays volleyball. My son's a golfer. So hopefully he can make it in golf. And,
are you going to spend a lot of time? Are you going to be one of those old wrestling dads, that we saw at every match? You're at all the home games. You're going to go watch them play all the time?
Oh, absolutely. As much as I can. Depending on where they go to college, I'd like to have them be obviously at a place where I'm able to go quite a bit and do that. So, my youngest is 7 though, so I'm still got a few more years to get all of them through high school.
Oh yeah, they're and it's a different system, right? As you're looking at how the kids are being raised, like your 16-year-old versus your 7-year-old, it's a totally different way, right? Totally different mindset of parenting.
I don't know, not not for me. I mean, I'm the same way. Getting the youngest one into sports now that she's just been doing basic gymnastic stuff, but starting to get into figure out what she likes now. So
What's
we'll see.
what's she gravitating towards?
Well, she actually just started doing jiu-jitsu a little bit ago, and
Which brings me to my next question.
she wants to do tennis and volleyball and try all that stuff too. So,
well, I was going to ask if she wanted to fight. Is Dad obviously going to support her if she wants to continue to fight? Because by the time she gets through, the money will be there for women. I mean, right now it's only the super top end, but by the time she gets through, women will be ready to go. Does she look like she's gravitating towards that a little bit, or is she?
No, I mean it's too kind of early to figure that out. But she if she wants to, then that'd be great.
Well, you gravitated towards wrestling about 7 years old, right? That's when you started wrestling, and
I started when I was 5, but got a little bit more competitive as I got older.
Yeah, true. Okay. All right, Dan. Well, I don't want to keep you away from your family too much longer and the in-laws. I know how much you want to get, how much nap time you might need before you go shark fishing tonight. Us older guys got to get our naps in. So
yeah, for sure.
Enjoy your time, man. Great fight. Amazing, amazing chance to really show that really age isn't anything but a number, and that you're not defying the age because it's never really been established in our sport. Because like you said earlier,
right.
We're so young. There is no age. There's a guy fighting in a couple days at 51. And it's like a main event of another organization. It's to me, it's kind of silly at that point. Like, just stop. But
right.
You're crushing it at 44. Like, it almost seems like you're better than you were maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Physically.
Well, physically, probably. Just I was going through some tough injuries, and coming back from those was tough. So physically, I feel great right now. And obviously mentally and technically, I've improved. So
good for you, Dan. I can't wait to hopefully you do fight November or October, November. It'd be great to see you get out there again. Personally, my bid is for Vitor first, and then Mousasi right after that. That's my rotation, but we'll see what the rest of the fans say.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what Dana White and Joe Silva say and figure it out.
Beautiful. All right, Dan. Look forward to talking to you again, man. Have a great rest of your vacation.
Right. You too. Have a good one.